Representative Dunbar.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First off, a point of clarification in regards to Representative Briggs' question about what would the cost of if we implemented fully bonus depreciation in Pennsylvania. You'd said $500 million over 2 years, which I'm not doubting. But over the life of those assets, it's a revenue neutral thing, correct?
It does turn around. It's a timing issue.
Thank you. And for years, several years, we've sat here and talked about performance-based budgeting and potentially having it. Now we could actually discuss implementation of it, which is a good thing because of Act 48. I guess the only regret is that Chairman Markosik won't be here to see it implemented. I understand it's not a panacea to cure all our woes, but it's certainly a step in the right direction, in my opinion. And I appreciate the schedule you've given us on page 29. Just a point of clarification, as you go through like this year's corrections, Board of Probation, paroles, you're going to establish metrics. Is that what you're going to do?
Yes, we'll work with the agencies to gather the data in order to develop various types of metrics that can assess whether they're meeting the goals and objectives that they've laid out.
Very good. And then next year you'll go on to the next line of items. But the ones you established in the first year, you're still going to do the measurements every year, though?
That's unclear. It's not laid out in the statute.
Okay, I know it's not. That's why I'm asking.
Okay. We haven't made that determination yet.
Okay. Also, do you believe then that we need some language to clarify that, or are you going to put that into some type of regulations or something in future years? My concern is that if you visit it 1 year, then we don't see it again for 5 years, we could be missing opportunities.
I think it would be good to have some sort of some type of follow-up, and it's not once every 5 years, that this would be a continual process.
Okay, and also, as you develop these performance measurements, how are we ensuring that stakeholders are getting a voice in the process? For instance, if you're looking in the welfare arena and welfare programs, how do we know that like our local nonprofits are having the opportunity to have input in it as well?
Well, our intention is, and again, starting after the hearings, that we're going to make every effort not only to reach out to the agencies, but to also reach out to other stakeholders to get their insights, because these people deal with it every day, so
exactly.
We want to hear from them.
And do you think that is something that we should codify as well, or is that something you can put into some type of regulations as you're developing this?
I think we can internalize it as an office practice and make sure those stakeholders are involved.
Okay. And continue along those lines, I'm sure you're familiar with Pew Charitable Just Results First initiative. I know you even had a webinar on it in the last couple of weeks. Is that something that's HB 599? It's in the Senate. Is that something you believe you can incorporate into this process without 599 passing, just based on what how Act 48 reads?
So I believe there is potential there, and as you noted, we have been investigating that. I do think there's a lot of overlap between results first and performance-based budgeting. Cost-benefit analysis is an outcome measure, so I do think there's some potential there.
Okay, I actually am looking forward to future years when we actually have the information at hand. That these hearings will be a lot more entertaining. I can certainly assure you of that. Just changing gears real fast. Revenue estimates for this year. You projected $200 million from gaming. Based upon our early sale of licensees and auction prices of our licenses, exceeding expectation, we're at $112 million, I believe it is. Did you change your revenue estimate yet on that in your mid-year, or are you planning on it? Can you give us a little insight on that?
Sure. On our mid-year, originally when we scored out the gaming expansion, we were at $103 million, I believe. And then, as you noted, based on the first two auctions that came in at $50 million and $40 million, we've increased our number, and we're now up closer to $175 million for this year.
Okay, just for the mini casinos?
For the entire package, that would be at 175.
Okay, but I thought our revenue estimate was $200 million from gaming expansion.
The administration's is $200 million, so my office has an internal number of 175 currently.
Okay, and that's not increased, or it's just...
Oh, it has increased. We were originally at 103, so we had a conservative number, and we've raised it up to 175.
Okay, and lastly, in the governor's budget proposal, there is a proposal for combined reporting for 2019-2020. In information I read from you in past years, you had projected about a 9% type of increase, something like that. And I believe the number you put on it was 300 million. Is that still the number you believe we would get from combined reporting?
Yeah, so based on the research that we're,
Net of any rate changes?
yes, roughly a 10% base expansion.
Okay, thank you.